As Americans struggle during the pandemic, more and more people are experiencing underemployment. This is different from unemployment, but it still creates major problems for our economy. Savannah Louie is connecting the dots. Welcome back. Sharon Stone shared a nearly 4-minute video that says, pray for her family. Her family has been suffering tremendously during the COVID-19 pandemic.
My grandmother died of COVID, and my godmother died of COVID.
An 18-year-old is facing more than half a dozen charges after police say he ran from them during a traffic stop. Jamel Coleman is charged with aggravated assault, reckless endangerment, and 3 other counts. The Democratic National Convention is kicking off today, and as the election approaches, given the ongoing pandemic, issues surrounding the U.S. Postal Service took center stage over the weekend. New calls for the newly appointed Postmaster General to resign amid concerns over mail-in ballots. ABC's Inez de la Coutura is in Washington with the latest. An advocacy group for local nonprofits is pushing to get more people to the polls on Election Day. How? By asking other nonprofits to give their employees the day off. Local 24 News reporter Jalen Sochak has this story. But don't forget, I want to hear from you. How are you feeling about sending your kids back to school today? Tell me by voting at localmemphis.com/vote. Well, you may have noticed by now that it's getting harder and harder to exercise. Gyms are closed and parks could be next. That's why local fitness guru Odie Tolbert is helping people work out right from home.
Ready, set, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This time.
Tolbert says he was inspired to do these videos by his 7-year-old daughter, Brooke. She was looking for a way to help encourage her peers to stay active. Tina, get down low with me. Let me show you where exactly these bullets hit. Here's a bullet hole right here. People were inside of this apartment when this happened, and it caused a very scary situation. The sun is starting to rise, and we're finally starting to see some daylight images of this devastation. I want to focus your attention on this area right here. This area right on your screen there used to be filled with trees, and you can see that it's just scattered with trees now. That's because those winds, those powerful winds of 130 miles per hour ripped through here. And I also want to focus your attention on this hotel. This is the Holiday Inn. Several rooms, dozens of rooms here, windows shattered out. People were actually asked to move from their hotel room to a safe room on the lower level. And my room was actually on the 4th floor of this hotel, directly above that room. Katina and Richard, I spoke with the Savage family attorney. Gerald Griggs says that phone call between Joycelyn and her family lasted about 3 minutes, and they felt she was being coached in what to say. They are still hoping for an in-person meeting to convince Joycelyn to come home.
You guys don't know the truth. You guys believe in some facade that our parents are saying.
That's 21-year-old Azriel Clary with Memphis native 23-year-old Joycelyn Savage sitting next to her. The 2 women identified as R. Kelly's girlfriends defending him in a CBS interview Wednesday.
This is all lies for money. And if you can't see that, you're ignorant and you're stupid.
The family say they've tried to reach their daughters for years. Kelly now claiming those parents were just out for money and opportunity.
We've never received any money from him, never asked for any money from him.
The women's parents believe Kelly brainwashed them as teenagers. During a news conference in Atlanta today, the Savage family pleaded to Joycelyn to come home.
We went from seeing you or talking to you daily or weekly to not seeing you in 2 years.
The family's fears renewed after Kelly's explosive interview with CBS Gayle King.
Robert, stop it. Y'all quit playing. Quit playing. Robert. I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. I'm fighting for my life.
They're definitely worried about her safety. We have witnesses that have told us about incidents of domestic abuse in that relationship. We've spoken to many of the survivors who were in the surviving R. Kelly special.
A short time after the news conference in Atlanta, Joycelyn finally called her parents.
I'm just letting you know I need you guys to understand that I'm very happy.
How will we know you're happy when we don't hear from you in 2 years?
Well, I have to go now.
And Griggs says investigators in Georgia are taking a closer look into Savage's accusations against R. Kelly. Now, Kelly has denied having sex with underage girls or doing anything illegal. Live in the studio, Annette Peagler, Local 24 News. The train departed from this square in the middle of downtown Batesville around 5 o'clock this evening. About 5 minutes into that ride, Joe May and his family say things got extremely uncomfortable.
A couple of miles south of Batesville, all of a sudden, we felt the car rock, and it went back and forth, and then it did a real sharp moved to the right, and all of the coffee mugs went flying up in the air, and everybody was screaming and hollering.
Joe May and his family are thankful to walk away from the Train to Christmastown ride that took a dramatic turn.
It rocked really bad, and you know, if it gotten a little bit further over, then there was a pretty good ditch to the right. So it rocked really bad, but it stayed on the cross ties. The wheels did.
The Train to Christmastown is a holiday attraction that brings families from across the Mid-South to see Christmas lights and other activities. Engineers spent a good time this evening examining the train for the popular tourist attraction to see what may have gone wrong. May says dozens of emergency response members pitched in to make sure they were all safe. Local school buses were even sent to help.
We got out, and there was the city police were there, the police chief was there, the deputy sheriffs were there, and they had gone and gotten buses, and they would bring the buses out, escort them out, pick us all up, and carry us back to the square.
A scary situation that ended peacefully.
There was a line of human beings there pushing their hands against us to make sure we stayed against that train and didn't fall down the hill.
May says that the families were offered a full refund or a free ride next year. He says that he plans to bring his family back here next year to try that ride. Meanwhile, the Panola County Sheriff says his crews and engineers will return to that derailment scene tomorrow morning to examine the train and to decide if and when the ride will continue for the remainder of the season. Reporting in downtown Batesville, Annette Peagler, Local 24 News.
And then just broke whatever he wanted to break. Frames and, you know, pictures of us and our kids and stuff, and it's just sickening.
Heather Foley gave us an exclusive look inside of her mother's home where shooting suspect Brandon Chambers was hiding after he went on a crime spree in Marshall County, Mississippi.
She had some prescriptions that he had taken. He took some money. So he made himself some lunch, and he had a bowl of soup that he cooked in the microwave.
I'm standing in one of the homes deputies say the suspect Brandon Chambers ransacked. You can see just how bad the damage is in here. Broken paintings, glass on the floor, and deputies say that this is the home that he stole that revolver from. Marshall County Sheriff Kenny Dickerson says Chambers took that gun and walked feet away to Highway 72 and opened fire right around noon on the busy highway west of Sladen.
It's just a miracle that, you know, we didn't have a shooting and a murder on our hands.
He hit the vehicle of a woman who was on her way to work in Olive Branch and a USPS mail carrier truck.
Projectile went in his windshield, glanced off the steering wheel, and then bounced off the door on the passenger side. And it come within an inch or two of his head.
Marshall County deputies started searching for Chambers with the help of the DeSoto County Sheriff's Department and the Mississippi Highway Patrol. Dickerson says they found him inside of this home, and Chambers finally surrendered, but not before leaving his mark on the homes he burglarized.
I'm so glad she wasn't home, because who knows what could have happened. You know, I'm just so thankful that she's okay.
In Marshall County, Annette Peagler, Local 24 News.
Welcome to Good Day Memphis at 6:30. I'm Annette Peagler. It's the first day of school for the largest school district in the state of Mississippi, DeSoto County Schools, plus a number of other Mid-South districts. Local 24 News reporter Jalen Sochak is live from Horn Lake High School, where students will soon be arriving for their first day back in 5 months. Good morning, Jalen. Meanwhile, Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves limiting K-12 sports games and band concerts and other extracurricular activities. The governor says the event must have a dedicated safety officer to ensure all social distancing measures are being followed. Reeves' latest executive order will stay in effect until the end of the month. If getting a nasal swab to test for COVID-19 makes you cringe, here's some good news. A quick, inexpensive test could use your saliva instead. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration is granting emergency authorization for the Saliva Direct test. Researchers say the test can yield results in under 3 hours, and they expect labs to charge about $10 per sample. Professional basketball players already use it. The NBA funded the test development, and teams give it to asymptomatic players. Also for you this morning, the 2020 Democratic National Convention kicks off today. It was supposed to be held in Milwaukee. Because of the pandemic, it will not be the massive event that was promised when first announced back in March. Speeches will be virtual, and convention coverage will be anchored from a control room at the Wisconsin Center. And today's speakers include New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, Senator Bernie Sanders, and former First Lady Michelle Obama. Former President Barack Obama is also expected to speak this week, but details about when have not yet been released. And Local 24 keeping you in the know this morning. You can watch those virtual speeches and more tonight right here on Local 24 at 9. If you're on the go, you can tune in on our Local 24 app, which is free for Apple and Android phones. Also for you this morning, President Donald Trump's youngest brother died at a New York hospital over the weekend. Friday, President Trump paid a visit to Robert. The White House did not release details about why his brother was hospitalized or the exact cause of his death. Well, a shocking announcement on Facebook. Memphis native Lawrence Boo Mitchell announced an attack on his oldest son, Elijah Mitchell Lewis. The post says Elijah was taken to Regional 1 Health for a gunshot wound to the back, broken ribs, and other injuries. As of right now, the family says the ex of Elijah's girlfriend broke in her house, waited for him, shot him in the back, then beat him after he was down. Elijah is alive, thankful this morning, and the family is asking for your prayers during his recovery. They say, we know that God is in charge, and we are praying and hopeful that one day he will fully recover. Time now 6:38, still ahead on Good Day Memphis as sports adapt to playing during a pandemic. Baseball honoring legends in the game. The oldest living American, Hester Ford, celebrated her 116th birthday Saturday. COVID-19 has forced Ford to stay inside of her home and miss church. However, it didn't stop her family and friends from driving by her home, honking and waving. Ford has lived in her home 58 years in Charlotte, North Carolina.